started with our speakers, it's great today to have some visitors and friends and really good people from Baton Rouge that are with us today. And they're well represented from one school in particular, but also for an entire organization. Because our first speaker is a graduate of Catholic High in Baton Rouge, and he served as athletic director at his alma mater for 9 years now. He was elected CEO of the Louisiana Select Association in July. And of course, you'll have 3 select school championships coming up this weekend, and another the following weekend as well. And here to talk a little bit about the association and those championship games, please give a warm quarterback club welcome to J.P. Kelly of Catholic High and the LSA. J.P.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate being here. And the first thing that I'll say is it's kind of disappointing that we have to talk about athletics in the terms of select and non-select. So in 2013, what happened was the LHSAA made a decision to split schools into select and non-select. In 2016, they continued that split in boys basketball, girls basketball, baseball, and softball. And then in 2019, what happened, the LHSAA decided the select schools would host their own championships, and that's where we are right now. And so what's going on, in order to organize that, the select schools tried to create an institution that would be able to make some decisions for them. So the LSA was formed. It's called the Louisiana Select Association. And its mission was, very publicly, to get the association back together. Anytime anyone from the LSA has a conversation about the split in the association, the first thing that they stress is that we want the association back together. The second goal was that we had to organize the playoffs for the select schools in 2019. And the third was to advocate for the select schools. So that's what we were trying to do. We just met with Tulane and their Associate Athletic Director, Chris Maitre, who's a Rummel grad. And what Rummel has done for Division I has just rolled out the red carpet for this game. It's going to be fantastic. Rummel versus Catholic High in New Orleans at Tulane Stadium, December 6th. And in the other divisions, they're going to do the same thing. Lafayette is going to, St. Thomas More is going to host the state championship at their venue. And that's going to be a great experience for their community. And then in Division III, they're going to be playing their championship at UL. I talked to Coach Monica, and they've done the same thing. They've rolled out the red carpet. So what's happened is this organization tried to organize all the select schools and make some decisions, but the LHSAA has not recognized the association. So really it doesn't have any power. Ultimately, what the select schools are trying to do is tell the LHSAA that 9 championships in football, 12 championships in basketball, girls and boys, and 12 championships in baseball is not what the state needs. Let's get back together. Let's move forward. Let's increase the competition. If you had a son or a daughter who attended a school like Catholic High, or a lot of the schools that are represented here, he's missed the opportunity to compete in 8 football games. I want that to take note, because as you get a little older, you'd almost do anything to go back and play 1 football game. And because of the decisions that the LHSAA has made and the principles of the LHSAA has made, our boys, our girls are missing out on opportunities. If you're at a school like Rummel, the opportunity to go west isn't available. You cannot play a championship game or a playoff competition west of Baton Rouge. You have one opportunity to play north of Mandeville. That's not correct. And so ultimately the select schools, the Louisiana Select Association, is trying to do everything it can to bring the association back together. On August 6th, the first time that the LSA ever met with the LHSAA, we suggested the following. This was August 6, 2019. Let's get back together this year. Let's play in the Superdome. We'll all play in the Superdome, and in the interim, between August and January, we will aggressively support some type of proposal that brings the association back together. And if it doesn't pass, then in January, let's work together to do something for the select schools. So all the times that you hear that, oh, the Louisiana Select Association is trying to split the schools, it's trying to create its own association, the first time that we ever met, that's what we suggested. And it wasn't acted on. And that's not anyone's fault. The bylaws were passed and we're acting under the umbrella that we have to. But just know that our goal, association back together. So thank you all very much for being here. Outside of all that, the championships for the select groups going on this weekend and next week. next weekend are going to be fantastic, and hopefully you can make one of those games. And then the next game the next week for the non-select schools. I will say this, I respect Mr. Baton and his staff tremendously. They have a very difficult job juggling select and non-select issues, and my hope is that in January there's a great proposal that gets it back together. So thank you very much. Yes, sir.
So are there proposals to have the group back together coming in January? I heard there's like a couple of different proposals that regards to the split.
Yes, sir. So there's a proposal out there that brings it back to the way it was before 2013. There's a proposal where there's 6 divisions and an added multiplier. So if you come from a select school or a private school that doesn't have boundary lines, that your population is multiplied. So basically, a smaller school that's private would more than likely move up a classification. There's another proposal that's a little challenging, it's a little anxious. There's a proposal to remove the select schools from the association, and then we'd have to petition the executive committee to get back into the association. That makes me very nervous, but that's out there as well. The other part that's really interesting, when you read the proposals and the executive committee's knowledge of them, their explanation of them, in the explanation of the 6 divisions, it states from the executive committee that the bill that was passed in 2013 is against the current LHSAA Constitution. So what does that mean? I'm not a lawyer, but I would think that it means that it would go back to previous 2013 divisions. So.
And is there representatives on the executive committee that is part of the select schools?
There's one. He's from Shreveport, Loyola Shreveport, and so yes, there's one executive committee that's from select schools. Yes, sir.
For the split, who was paying the Dome for the championship games? Was it sponsors?
I don't know that, but I would assume that they had sponsorship for it, and they have sponsorship for the Dome now as well.
They do now as well?
Yes, sir.
With the split? Okay.
All-state is sponsoring the Sugar Bowl championships. Yes, sir.
Okay. All right.
They're not Yes. They're not sponsoring, like, there's no money coming from the LHSAA to fund the select championships. There's no money from that. But that's the way the proposal was written up, so that's not anyone's fault.
That's what I was getting at.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone else? Raise your hand.
Thank y'all very much, and if there's anything you can take away, we want to get this association back together, so I appreciate y'all's time.